Hello there.
Hello, guys.
What's up, troopers?
Welcome
Pew,
back to
pew,
Trooper
pew.
Archives, where we are going to break down. Well, we're going to discuss a bit on Andor, episode 5.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Chapter 5.
chapter 5
All right,
of
so
Andor. Looking
as you
good.
said, we are going to do the breakdown for episode 5 of Andor, and I'm sure that everyone have watched it by this time. So it's safe to post this video of our breakdown. No spoilers. So guys, if you haven't watched episode 5 of Andor, spoilers alert. All right, just turn back after you watched Andor. Come back to this video.
I mean, if
All
you
right.
haven't watched episode 5 of Andor, what are you doing watching this video?
Yeah, that's
Go watch
true.
it first.
Stop watching YouTube and go to Disney Plus. All right. Okay, so we're gonna
Let's get
move
into it.
on. Yeah, let's just get into Syril Karn, our first
First scene.
the first scene. So what do you think about this scene? For me in particular, him looking out the window and just seeing like a flash of light. I thought it was the sun, but then again, it just like passed by. Maybe he was just getting some PTSD from the explosion in Ferrix. I don't know. Like this guy is troubled. He needs to be seen by a doctor or something.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely going through something.
Yeah.
I think that was a really good trick, cinematography wise, to kind of fool us into. I thought he was waiting for the sunrise, the quote unquote sunrise in Coruscant. I don't know how days work in Coruscant.
I don't
it was
know
a
either,
good
man.
trick. Just and you can see his face, and you know that he's contemplating. I mean, one thing I want to say is that this guy knows how to act.
Yeah, true.
Mr. Kyle Soller is his name. Yeah.
The
he can act,
actor.
and yeah. It was a really intense look, and just at the beginning of the episode, and to just realize, or just to set the tone of what he's going through. Like, he's going through something we don't know yet, but it looks like there's an intense situation, especially with, I don't know, the family. Is it his family? So we see him have this conversation with his mom.
Yeah, true.
Being referred to like one of their uncle. Is it his uncle?
Yeah, we'll talk about Uncle Harlow a little bit. I just
Yeah,
want to point out
so-
the blue milk.
Yes,
Another appearance
cereal.
of the blue milk. Yeah, with the cereal.
Not just in Tatooine. So Tatooine has an export, product apparently.
Is it really?
Exporting the Coruscant. Like, that's a really good, really good contribution to the Tatooine economy.
Yeah, true. But the thing is, that made me think, actually. So I don't want to get discuss this too long because it's just milk. So the blue milk, in fact, I thought, like, all right, so blue milk is available in like most civilized worlds. But then again, is it just, or maybe milk is just colored blue in any form?
Maybe,
Or, like,
yeah,
in
that's
any,
right.
maybe.
Uh-huh.
But in a future, like in the succeeding scene, we see Nemik offering Cassian Dre milk, which is not blue at all. So I said,
not blue.
okay,
It's
so
not blue.
this
I was
comes
waiting
from
for
yeah. So it was cool. He was kind of playing with his food. I don't know if it's actually edible, the blue milk, or maybe it's just like a prop because he doesn't really eat it, touch it.
Aunt Beru thinks it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, true. I mean, but then again, Aunt Beru's like, Aunt Beru in a special sense. But yeah, so what besides the blue milk, and by the way, if you see the bowl of fruits on the table, did you notice that?
Tray.
So
The food tray.
yeah, so one of the fruits is called Maluron fruit.
Okay.
And yeah, so the Maluron fruit is one of the favorites of our rebel heroes from Star Wars Rebels, Hera Syndulla.
Mhm.
So yeah, so just a quick fun fact for you guys. But yeah, so what do you think about the chemistry between Syril's mom, between Syril, did you think that they had like a falling out at some point? Like they were discussing quite a bit, like you could have visited or you could have invited me, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
again
It
his
was
mom is like, you know, going is not going uninvited is no invitation at all, or is
the open
unwelcoming.
invitation. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
having an
yeah,
open invitation. I understand her point. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
true.
if Cyril wanted his mom to be there, like he should have asked. Like, come on,
Yeah,
man, it's your mom. Or yeah. So I think what we see here is that the series is telling us that there's something up. Like they're up to something, and it may not look like they're on the same page, but I think they are. I think it's just like differences in opinion, but it's essentially getting to us to a certain goal. So I think they're on the same page. It's just being
yeah.
packaged in a way for us to digest this way. So yeah.
But by the way, the character that played, I mean the actress that played the mom of Cyril, it was
I like
actually
her.
a Harry Potter um character as well. She played a Harry Potter character as well, which was the was it like a person who was a witness to Harry's crimes in
Yep.
what was that film again?
She's a
Was it
squib. She is a
yeah,
squib.
Squib, yeah.
Yeah.
I just remembered. But yeah, coming back, for me this scene just entails that their family is any other family in the world. Especially I think especially for Asians, wherein our parents
Hey, good
kind of
point.
like,
Yeah.
hey, get a job. I didn't raise
Study
you for
hard.
nothing. Yeah.
Straight A's.
Or calling favors with your Uncle Harlow. Yeah.
Yes, it's
So
right. It's right. Very
so
Asian.
I think the director and the writers of Andor actually wanted it to be more relatable. Not to a point that it is like in line with how Star Wars films are made, but more on how it touches people's lives in a way, because it is relatable with our current world that we're living in.
Okay,
And
yeah,
yeah,
I
so
see what you're saying.
I think Uncle Harlow will play a big part of Cyril's character development in the story, because I don't think he'll be unemployed this I mean in the entire series. I think he will
For
be
sure.
probably be drafted in my picks are the ISB and or just the Imperial Army.
Oh wow,
It's-
that's
yeah,
those are super hot takes there.
yeah, true.
I think he's gonna go in a different direction. I think he's gonna get maybe army, but more on like a different capacity. But I'm not sure. I don't have a really hard take on it yet. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think the Navy will have anything to do with this series, because most of it is political, like on the ground. We don't really need to see much more of. But then again, in the trailer, we see one of the ships being attacked by Luthen, or maybe it's an illusion that it's Luthen between that big ship. But we'll see more of Cyril in the future.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, so we go back to Aldani with our group,
Okay.
led by Vel and of course our protagonist Cassian Andor is there as well. So what do you think about that scene in Aldani?
So the first scene that we get to here is it's instantly it was a scene where we see Cassian sort of notice there's something wrong, and then his interaction with
Yeah.
Skeen not too far away, and just Skeen noticing that Andor's noticing his tattoos, the
Yeah, true.
barcode and the arm pattern, and it's basically just a setup for internal conflict and just reinstating that trust is a very very fragile thing in
Yeah.
their group and in their
I agree.
operation. So it's a very, they're all walking on eggshells and on eggshells on thin ice. That's basically where the group is on right now.
Yeah, fun fact about those tattoos that Skeen showed Cassian. The crate head tattoo, which is actually a dragon head, a crate dragon head, which is seen it's a large reptile seen in the Mandalorian in Tatooine. Um and then the other interesting tattoo is by the hand, which is it has a the by the hand is like it has a connection with the dark side of the Force, and Grand Admiral Thrawn, because Grand Admiral Thrawn is the leader of the Empire of the Hand, also called the Hand.
Okay.
So I guess I don't know why he has those tattoos, but we also figure out that Andor did some time in Imperial prison as well, at Sippo Youth Center. So maybe he got imprisoned there in his youth, or in his teenage years. So we see the relate.
Not unlike
Yeah.
Andor for for him to be in a prison, juvenile in juvie. So I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
I think it's fair to
definitely,
say, yeah, yeah.
definitely. Um, so we move on to the other characters in Velsarda's team,
Okay.
which is like Nemec. So what can you talk about Nemec
Oh
and
yeah,
his like idealism and his
that was good.
manifesto?
That was
I was
good.
kind of surprised with how he started it and how he from like a snap. Oh, this character is very he has an ideology that he wants to share, and he's not just about guns and fighting. Because like the rebellion is not built on fighters alone. We also have people who are very into politics, very into the ideology of the cause, and I think one of the good things about this group is that Nemec is another part of the larger scale of the rebellion, which is politicians, ideologists. So what do you think
Yeah,
about that scene?
no, I think Nemec's gonna be a really good tool for this story. He initially he reminded me of Mouse in The Matrix. If you watch the Matrix movie, he was the youngest member of the crew, and he died, during the battle, in the first Matrix movie. But he reminded me of him in the sense of having that youthful energy to the group. But we see here that he's not just about being youthful. He's also about being, I wouldn't say overly, like, not a zealot, but he has that passion and that drive and that motivation based on politics, based on ideology,
Yes.
to just really be before this rebellion. And there was one line that he said that really struck me was, the pace of oppression outstrips our ability to understand it, which he was pointing out in terms of what the empire is doing to their freedom. So it's more, you do a hundred atrocities so that the freedom, or people won't have time to think about what's happening to them. So
Yeah,
that
that's
really
true.
struck me. Us also coming from a country who used to be we used to be colonized, so
Yeah,
we kind
true.
of relate to that as well, right?
Yes, definitely. And the powers, the vastness of influence and power the Empire has over the galaxy, the grip it has over the galaxy, they could easily do those atrocious events throughout, with the resources they have. And I think it's just overwhelming for people, and to see how he as I think he's very young to be, I think he has a head of a very mature adult. But then again, oppression kinds of wakes up our our maturity, our eyes to what's important ahead of us. We there is maybe he had to grow up faster, because to mature faster, because there is no time to relax, there is no time to go to school if you don't have the opportunities, especially in Aldani. I don't see any, like, I, but I guess in the previous episode they did mention that everyone went to the south, where there's the jobs, the towns. But then again, the empire is just like inflicting this like they're just like pushing their fist up the galaxy's you know
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
behind.
Yeah,
But
forcing
yeah,
it in. Yeah.
yeah, forcing it in.
Yep.
All right, we'll move
Right.
on to that. We don't want to dwell with that. So I just want to touch on this. I kind of found it funny that Taramin
Yeah.
gave Clem his alias, which was pretty long and pretty like I don't know. Maybe it's for I don't know why they need to. Was it going back to the plan? Was it a surprise attack or was it like were they gonna do what do you call this? I forgot the term. Are they gonna
Which one are we talking
like
about?
make it
Which?
seem like when Taramin was like instructing Cassian about, all right, this is what you do. This is how an Imperial soldier walks. This is
Oh,
how
okay,
he
yeah, yeah. He was
stands.
instructing
And
him how
your
to
alias is
stand.
Imperial Private Clam from the Alkenzi Air Base. So
Yeah.
going back to the plan, was it like a surprise attack? Was it a covert operation? Or was it an undercover mission that they have to pretend to be Imperials to get into the
Yeah,
base?
yeah, you're right. I think it's the latter. I think it's gonna be they have to impersonate officers first to infiltrate, get in.
Yeah.
'Cause they're walking. It's basically they're walking in and then they're flying out. I think that's the plan. So I think they have to impersonate being there. So and then when they were marching, Tyramin was saying it's about confidence. We belong here. You know, we're part of this group. We're part of the station or that installation there. And yeah, they have
Yeah.
to pull their way inside and then bust themselves out. So I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, I think it's just funny that Imperials have this like distinct walk that they have to like, you know, learn, I guess, or maybe get used to. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But then again, it's the Empire. They're just weird. So we go to a day or the night before the operation, and we see our characters toast to the rebellion. It's the first time that it was mentioned, the rebellion, like so openly, that this is for this cause. This is one of the missions leading to the Battle of Yavin, to the Battle of Endor, to the defense of Hoth, and the future battles. And it's just like, what do you think about that scene? I think it was very empowering, for them and for
Yeah.
Rebel fans.
Definitely. I like. I forgot which part Vel said this line. She said, "Everyone has their own rebellion," alluding to they have all these different reasons. They were at each other's throats just
Yeah.
a few scenes back, and Skeen was being tough, but again, everyone has their own rebellions. Everyone has their own reasons for being there, and all their backgrounds have brought them to this one penultimate place where they're about to stir some shit up, basically.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
so we're gonna see. I hope we see some action next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this episode is kind of a build up, like episode 2 building up to episode 3. And this is what I like about Andor. They are just like 3-episode arcs, like mini arcs.
Right.
Wherein we see the introduction is episode 1, and then we got the build up and then the action. Episode 3. We got the build up, the introduction and slash mini build up from episode 4, and now the main build up episode 5, and maybe we get some action in episode
Right.
6. And I really
You're
thought
right.
in this episode that we're gonna see some Imperial Senate politics being talked about, or like maybe the dinner that
dinner, yeah.
yeah.
That's
I was
right.
kind of like rooting for that. I want to see how they viewed themselves, how arrogant they were already, like because like the arrogance just gets stronger as soon as you come closer to Coruscant, because that's the center of everything. It's the center of the Empire. And these rebels are just like, the rebellions are just starting from like different parts of the galaxy. But all right, so we go back to what we were talking about, which is the group of Felsartha. and I think this is one of the last scenes. Um, Skeen finds the Kyber crystal, the
Right.
Sky Stone, as we have mentioned in the previous episode. And yeah, so this is like, and I thought, if this series was predictable, they would have made the conflict when the operation started. You get what I mean?
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. Like, if they were
If
already
it's
in
just
the
yeah,
base, and then that's when they start mistrusting each other. And
yes,
yeah, I
yes,
understand.
definitely.
Yeah, okay.
And then that's where the mission fucks up, right? And then
Which would be
they
it would have been a
improvise.
more traditional way to like mess up the plot, or make it
Yes,
chaotic. Yeah, okay.
yes, but the thing is, I really like how they executed this. Andor said it's for the money, like like that. Open, he
I'm a
opened
merc.
it up.
I'm a
Yeah,
merc. That's what I am.
yeah,
Deal
yeah,
with it.
definitely. And you can see the look on Nemik's face as he thought that Cassian believed in what he was saying in his manifesto, but actually it was part of the 20,000. Was it 20,000 or 200,000?
Uh, which one?
The payment for Cassian after the mission.
Payment.
I think it was 200,000.
I think it's 200.
Yeah. So it was all part of the package, the Cassian package. But yeah, one thing about the scene, just ending this, unless you want to say something else, I don't get how Vel and the other gal, I forgot her name,
Cinta.
Cinta, they had to split up with the group and they'll just see each other in the morning. Like,
Yeah,
what were they doing? Like,
well, I like it in the sense that it's not as simple as all of us going in and all of us going out. I like
Yeah.
I like the complexity of them having to synchronize movements and time in different groups. So it's well, you should never split the party, but they did. So we'll see next
and it's
episode.
kind of yeah, true. Anyways, we'll go to Cassian asked Vel about Lieutenant Gorn, because like Vel was kind of like, all right, let's do a recap of your knowledge about the mission, like, and then after the recap, Cassian answers satisfyingly. I don't know if that's the word, but yeah, every question that Vel had, and he asked, why did Lieutenant Gorn defect? Why did we have an inside man? And that's what we're gonna talk about next. Lieutenant Gorn, his past,
Lieutenant Gorn.
and the base operations. So yeah. So what do you think about that?
It seems pretty straightforward. They could be fooling us with this storytelling tool, but it seems straight up that they all have their reasons for Lieutenant Gorn for defecting, and then everybody else having their own reasons for being in the rebellion. But what struck me most about Lieutenant Gorn's first appearance in his scene this episode was how much the Empire, or at least their uniforms, look so much like the German uniforms.
In World War II.
George Lucas patterned this after basically the German army back in World War II, which it's not a secret. It's just what it is. But in this scene where he was walking down with two other officers, like, these guys are German officers.
Yeah, true.
They look so much like German officers. But so it's basically establishing the Empire and in this station, and I actually don't really know what's sort of the setup, or what Gorn's doing. Like, I don't follow his setup, his part of the plan, but it seems like he's doing his job. It seems like
I think
doing
he's
his
just
part.
like acting normal, so that he's not going to be exposed that he's actually like, the inside man for this team that Luthen, commissioned. So I think he's just doing his part, making sure that everything is according to plan, nothing changes. We don't see any. Maybe they transfer the quarterly payroll to another room, which fucks up the whole mission.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just like, acting normal. Because
those were a
all
lot
of
of credit. Those are a
Yeah.
lot of credit.
yeah, we
They
saw the
showed it.
credits, and it was like, guarded by like only one or two people. It was like weird. It's just like right there.
Right there.
So what I think about Lieutenant Gore, with the on how he was trying to pressure those two officers, and painting that part of the base,
Gantry,
or like or maybe repairing it, was because we are expecting an engineer from Coruscant arriving,
Right.
within the day, or maybe tomorrow or the next day, and he was just, and I was kind of like surprised with how those two officers responded with when they said, like, "Sir, permission to be like blunt about," or something like that, and they were asking, when you get assigned to Aldani, which is a very far away planet, for us it might be like a policeman being assigned to a very remote province.
Iceland is assigned in Reykjavik, and you're gonna see the northern lights already, but you're not allowed to. Oh, come on,
Because
man.
you have to work. Come on, man. Like,
It's the northern lights.
yeah. So it was kind of like, these guys were also, it humanizes the Empire. I think.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They're not really droids. They're not really clones that were bred to be soldiers or officers. They are enlisted
They're
people.
not Nazi officers. They're not Nazi
Yeah.
officers as well. That they're human. They're part of, like,
Yeah.
they have families, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But they just want to get the best out of, the assignment, regardless if
Right,
it was a
yeah.
shitty assignment, and it was kind of good for Lieutenant Gorn to be okay,
Morale was considered. Although
just make
it raises a question whether will this be the right move for the time, considering the timing of their operation. So
I
we'll
think
get-
so, because
we'll see it.
because if most of the personnel are outside watching the show and most of the personnel are not inside, then they could easily like sneak in and sneak out, maybe just like a
Yeah.
couple of officers they encounter and maybe some kills. I don't know. We'll see.
Excited.
I am. And what else do we talk about? Yeah, so basically we move on to the ISB. Oh, by the way, just going back to Lieutenant Gorn, the TIE fighter that passed through the camp,
The pass by, yeah.
it was kind of like, it was like an asshole doing
Donuts,
120 120 in the highway. It was pretty low. And it kind of, it was pretty low. And I don't know if he was just showing off, or it was just like inflicting fear among.
If I were there, I'd be like, "Don't get cocky, kid."
You're on the wrong side of the road. But yeah, one theory is that we might be able to see Galen Urso, maybe. Who's also maybe an engineer, architect. I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's a
or
good
maybe
one.
Director Krennic. The
We
one
don't
in
want-
charge of
we
the.
don't want-
Because according to lore, he was a Republic engineer or architect before
Oh, if we
he
get him,
became
it'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
Cool to see
So
somebody from Rogue One.
from
yeah.
Rogue One. Yeah.
Yep.
So we don't know how. It'll be a surprise if this engineer is actually that we know this. It'll be a surprise if the VIP from Coruscant, the engineer or architect that's coming, is actually someone we know that works for the rebellion. That's gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
you're okay. We got someone from the inside.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Some of the things that we've said in this podcast are sometimes right, sometimes it's kind of far fetched. But all right, we're gonna go to a little bit of the ISB.
Okay.
We see Lieutenant Supervisor Belvin, who he went to Ferrix, and the only thing I want to talk about is he's just like facilitating, the Empire's control over the sector, over the system. But what kind of got me confused is that a captain from, I think, the Imperial Army is asking if he can be the prefect, the Imperial prefect of that world, from Lieutenant Supervisor Blevin, and I'm kind of like weirded out. I don't know, maybe I haven't done my research well enough, but lieutenants should be lower than captains, right? But then again, they're two different branches of the Imperial military. So what do you think about that? Like, why would a captain go begging from a lieutenant a post?
I think it was more like somebody from the site asking a favor from somebody in the corporate office, something to that effect. Like,
yeah, true.
They could be of higher rank, but corporate office has the ear of the bosses to approve these small things. So that's my take. I don't know.
Maybe, but it just goes to show that the ISB is not, has jurisdiction over the Imperial Army and the Navy. Maybe, I don't know how the hierarchy works.
Maybe.
So back in Coruscant, at the ISB office, we see Dedra Miro and her, another officer that works under her department.
Loyal guy. A loyal guy.
They still investigate the stolen Starpath unit.
They're not quitting.
They're not quitting. And she did mention a planet, asking her assistant about Hosnian Prime. Do you know Hosnian Prime?
No,
fun fact, Cassian Prime is the planet that the First Order blew up in Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the replacement to the Republic, the Coruscant, as the center of the
Right.
Republic.
What we thought was Coruscant.
Yeah, I thought it was Coruscant. It made me, sad. But then again, it's not. Oh, fuck them all. So, yeah. So, they also further discuss, Castle, Fondor,
Castle was mentioned,
Jakku.
right? And then
Jakku was also mentioned.
Jakku was mentioned. Yeah, that's right.
Base K and Steerguard. Yeah.
I thought that Dedra was playing a good role in terms of just being like a overachieving law student, popping speed pills so that she could do overtime. So that was a good touch.
I think those were Red Bull pills. Probably Monster Energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if they just gave her credit of her speculations about a possible coordinated rebellion, they could have the Empire could have easily crushed those rebel cells, because they do have hundreds of Star Destroyers, millions of maybe units of from the Imperial Army and the Navy to crush 100,000 rebels. But then again, they're too arrogant to act upon it.
Yeah, it is basically that's basically it. The attacks or the incidents didn't look didn't look organized at all. It didn't look linked. It didn't look enough for the Empire to just pay any attention to. So this is where we are now.
But then again, I like how she mentioned it's too random to be random.
Yeah, that's a good line.
It's kind of obvious. She was kind of seeing through.
The guy said that. I think the.
Maybe the guy said it. Yeah.
I think the guy said that.
Yeah, but so basically, I kind of like Dedra's kind of like she's still investigating. No character development here. Nothing of that sort, I guess, from the ISB from this. But then again, this is a build up for Val Cetra's team. So, you know,
Yeah.
we'll forgive them about that. So we go to Mon Mothma's family woes. All right.
Yeah, this is
So
just I'll be completely quick here. I was really weirded out because both you and I were hoping for the dinner. We were hoping for the dinner scene.
yes,
But we they skipped it and we just see a whiny daughter with incredulous
named
husband.
Lyda Mothma.
Okay.
Name's
But
Lyda.
yeah, I don't know what this has anything to do with the story. So I don't know. I don't know why they're showing it. What do you think about it?
I think I just have two things about it. I think again, I want to repeat. I think it's just the writers and the director making it more relatable for us. You know, we had our conflicts with our parents, and we no family is perfect. We do have some kind of scuffles with our brothers or relatives, and I think this just shows that Mon Mothma, even if she is a senator, even if she's like living in the Beverly Hills of Coruscant, she has her own problems, despite
He's going through
her
some
problems
as well.
with being investigated, her problems with being
Watched all
you
the
know
time.
finding the funding for the rebellion and having family problems at the same time. It's kind of like a lot for her. Maybe it's like a mini character development so that we could also get a little bit of glimpse of the character of Mon Mothma, because she was only shown a
Yeah.
little bit from the original trilogy and a little bit from the Rebels series. And yeah,
Good
basically
point. Yeah.
so I think that's those 2 points that I want to put out there with regards to the scenes that were being shown. And I think I want to put out as well the scene wherein her husband Perrin and Mon Mothma in the car talking about and then Perrin, the husband, mentions, "Oh, Gartafid told me that you were putting up a charitable foundation. And then why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you talk about it with me?" And then Mon Mothma just spouts like, "Yeah, you're not interested in charity.
It's
Like,
charitable.
it's
That
charitable.
was
You're
really
not going to
cool.
be interested in
It's
that."
cold. Pretty cold of
Yeah,
her.
it's cool. Yeah. But then again, you see how maybe that's the price she has to pay with being part of supporting the Rebel Alliance. She
Maybe.
is kind of very secretive. Maybe that's why she's kind of like detached from her husband, who is a Imperial sympathizer, maybe, or like a supporter for the Empire's causes. But yeah, um as we can see, we move on to the last scene wherein we see Luthen back in you know in his shop,
Antiquities shop. Yeah.
where he's kind of like listening to what's happening to the team, if he's gonna receive a transmission, a report. But then again, you kind of, if you're in an operation, you kind of go radio silent with it, right? Like you don't
Right,
really
yeah.
want to do too much comms whenever you're about to do a mission, especially a covert one.
His companion was completely right. Like he was being
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah, and I think Luthen is being paranoid, too much. I think this
No,
character
I don't think it's paranoia. I think it's he's already placed his bet, and then the game has started, and he's just very anxious about what's about to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
He has no control. He has now relinquished control over everything that he has set up.
That is true. That is true. What I think about this is that this is a build up for what's about to go down. I think this is like, all right, next scene. I think just because of this scene that we get to see like everyone anticipating for that mission, the group, Luthen. I think we're gonna start the next episode with a bang. Like no dialogue,
I
just
hope
like
so.
the battle itself, or like
I
the
hope so.
operation itself. Yeah,
Yeah.
just I
I
think
think
because like
I mean I'm with you. I want it to be that way, but I think it's gonna start out slow. I think it's gonna start out them sneaking into the base. So it's more. It's like that part in Rogue One where they were sneaking into Scarif, or
Yeah,
more.
that's true. That's
that
true.
quiet part, not the battle.
Yeah, episode 6 actually is the half. It's the marker that we're already
Okay.
halfway throughout season 1,
All right.
and I'm really excited if they wrap up the mission in one episode. Maybe make it like 50 minutes or like an hour. I'm gonna be excited what's in store for the next 6 episodes after that.
Yeah.
But then again, it's too big of a operation to be just in one episode. But I don't know how they will cut it. I think so. What do you think? Will it be? Do you think the operation itself, including the escape, will be 2 episodes or just 1?
I think it's gonna be 2 episodes. I think they're gonna cut it in the middle or somewhere crucial, and it's gonna be a wild cliffhanger for sure.
But then again, it's Andor. We don't really get to see traditional, plot points, or plot lines. We have to wait for it. One fun fact is that in Luthen's shop, as he was like asked by his assistant about like, are you still contacting them, or are you still like listening to that thing? Yeah, I'm just gonna be a few more minutes and then I'll turn it off. In the shelf, you can actually see 3 things that are like Easter eggs, and one of those things is a Sith holocron and a Jedi holocron.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it's kind of big because like Sith holocrons, like if this is a scale as a person, the Sith holocrons or the Jedi holocrons will be like this big. But it's like this big. Like it's big as Luthen's head.
It's probably the version 5. It's not the iPhone 15 yet.
It's the Holocron 14 Pro Max.
Yeah.
It's weird, but yeah, I think it might be a fake because like most of the Empire's efforts to erase Jedi existence is to destroy and seize and control these like Jedi artifacts. So I think this might be a fake, or maybe just an Easter egg that we're not gonna be able to see any time. But then again, we also see the Sankara stones from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Just right beside the Jedi holocron or the Sith holocron. Yeah, just
fantastic.
Cool. Yeah. So so what do you think about this episode, Ace? We'll conclude it right here.
I wanted it to have some action, but we didn't get any. I'm fine with it though. I wasn't disappointed. I hope we see more of Syril. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to unpack there, and
he's kind of hunting down.
Yeah, I can't wait
Cassian.
for the action to move forward. Yeah.
For me, it's just like again, as I said, building it up to episode 6, showing that it is pretty boring if you would are just interested about the action scenes, but it gives much context of what our characters are going through, what's the reason behind a lot of things that happened and will happen in the future episodes. And I think so far Andor has exceeded much of my expectations. This is not a Star Wars series that a Star Wars fan it's not only made for Star Wars fans. This is a Star Wars series, or just a series by Disney that is made for everyone, including those who didn't even watch other movies or content regarding Star Wars.
You can just jump right into it. Yeah.
Yep. It's very different, and I like it, and I'm hoping to see more episodes. So, all right, we'll cap it at that. Please do follow us on TikTok at Trooper Archives, and do like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, Trooper Archives. And we'll see you in the next breakdown. I am Gabe.
And this is Ace, and don't drink any of that non-blue milk.
That's
Throw
true.
it in the fire.
Throw
it in the fire.
Drace for throwing. All right. See you guys. May the force be with you.
Bye.